welcome to the channel. Got a package in the mail today. With any luck, this should be the Anbernic RG Cube, and we're going to take a look after I use these box opening scissors, see if we can get in here. I don't know why they package these things up, they always look suspicious. Maybe that's why I'd had to sit a week in customs. So, it is an RG Cube. Pretty well packed. This was from the eBay deal. I got a little dent in the box here on the side, but probably nothing too much to worry about. Pretty small box, only 7.5 inches wide. So, of course, this is a pretty small handheld. So let's see what we get. We have a typical Anbernic box, little silver outlining here, not sealed shut in any way. So we'll take a look. Get a little thank you note here. This is from eBay, so I guess this is something they put in their eBay orders. So what do we have? Here is the cube itself. This is very typical Anbernic packaging. We have a screen protector, the 4-inch screen. I will probably go apply this in a minute or two. RG Cube user guide, some wipes. Features external display, joystick light. If you've seen an Anbernic handheld, you've seen these before. And here's the device itself. And I'm assuming in here is a cord. USB A to C. I'll put that back in there. I think we will get this screen protector on in short order. But here's the handheld itself. Actually, it's a pretty small device here. Whole device is about 6 inches wide. About an inch and a half thick, something like that. Got bottom firing speakers. Here's the D-pad, very Sega-like. Got some buttons here. The analog sticks. I think these have RGB lights. There's our fan. Looks like the micro SD card. Did they take a page from Asus here and put the micro SD card right above the fan? Yeah, well, Asus had problems with that. Hopefully the RG Cube won't. So just looking at the device, looks pretty nice. Seems a little bit more solidly built than that RG556. If I squeeze the RG556 like this, it creaks. But buttons feel all right. Sticks, well, we'll see how the sticks go when we actually play some games. Select and start, and the back button. I think this is Anbernic's little interface button down here. They did add some grippy surfaces here to the bottom, might make it a little bit easier to hold. The RG556 could get a little slippery. But here is the Anbernic RG Cubed, or I keep saying cubed, it's the RG Cube. And I think what we'll do is get this screen protector on before doing anything else, so we don't have to worry about any scratches or anything like that. So, screen protector. And we'll be back with the RG Cube once the screen protector's on. We're back with the screen protector applied to the RG Cube, as you can see. By the way, never use these things that come with it. These just don't do much of anything, kind of garbage. I always use these Zeiss lens wipes to apply screen protectors. Just give the screen a couple of cleanings with these. Screen protector goes right on, no bubbles, no nothing. Get these from Walmart, but these are a godsend when it comes to getting these screen protectors on without bubbles and dust underneath. So let's look at some size comparisons. So kind of first things first, the RG Cube kind of has a big brother, the RG556. The cube itself, it's only about 6 inches. The RG556 is about 9. In terms of thickness, they are, I'll look down at it, fairly evenly matched here. The 556 is a little thicker, but across the board, it's thinner here, but the grips are thicker. So overall, the 556, is a little thicker here. As you can see, it's a good bit larger. The cube is actually a very small, very from the looks of it, very portable device. So comparing to another, the RG28XX, really tiny handheld, but the cube isn't that much bigger, at least if you look down from the top. It is substantially thicker due to the grips, but the cube is a pretty small device, even not compared to that. Compared to the Odin 2, Odin 2 is kind of similar in size to the RG556, so size comparison's kind of similar here as well. You can see that the Odin, 9 inches wide, is actually about the same thickness, but is certainly much wider. So Odin is pretty big here. If you want to get a more kind of absurdly large, here's an Ally. You can fit the entire RG Cube onto the screen of the Ally. So obviously far larger device here. You know, being closer to a foot, it's like 11 inches wide. This one's not going in anybody's pockets, at least not unless they have kind of ridiculously sized pockets. But maybe a comparison that a lot of people would be looking for here, instead of these devices, would be, this is a Retroid Pocket 3 Plus. It's pretty similar in size to the Pocket 4, so you can kind of see how the RG Cube would stack up to a Pocket 3 or a Pocket 4. But a lot of people have been kind of waiting for a release of this device, only more powerful. This is the RG405M, and as you can see, these two are very similar in size. So if you're waiting for that replacement for the RG405M, the Cube might be able to help you out here. Of course, the main difference, we have the stack triggers and the grip here. The Cube is certainly thicker than the 405M, but in terms of overall size, they're thickness aside, they're pretty comparable. The screen is going to be a hair wider on the 405M, but of course it'll be less tall because of the 405M's 4:3 aspect ratio and the Cube's 1:1 or 1:1. So, little differences here, but actually this is looking to be, at least from size comparisons, to be a pretty reasonable substitute, since Anbernic has not seen fit yet to bring out a replacement for the 405M that can actually run more powerful systems like PlayStation 2. Maybe the Cube is it. Maybe Anbernic next month will release a 406M. Who knows? But for now, the Cube looks like a pretty good replacement. So, this will be the first time I've turned the Cube on here. Let's see if we can get it going. Put in a little micro SD that I have some games on here. We'll see if we can get that going in short order. Wonder if it has any power. Let's plug in real quick and see if it does anything. Oh. Lights up. You gonna tell me how much battery you have? Oh, 76%. So we actually do have enough battery to play around with here. So at least I know the screen works. So let's turn this thing on and see how fast we can get from taking this thing out of the box to actual gaming. Now let's find the power button. So volume and power are on the side, nothing on the other side. So let's see what we got here. I'll hold the button down. Usually that will wake it up. Here we go. Anbernic logo. It got brighter. Oh, here is the RGB stick lighting. Let me select English. Start use. So right now it says Bluetooth, gyroscope, Wi-Fi, long endurance, hardware. Whoops, changed. Android 13. TF card, microphone, buttons. Oh, it has buttons. If I'd thought about it, I'd put a stopwatch up here. But through the magic of video, we can actually find this out later, how long it took. Oh, the RGB lights here are kind of rotating around in a pattern. I've never been a big fan of RGB lights on joysticks, but some people like them, and if you do, these are serviceable. Not quite as bright as the ones on the Ally, at least not by default, but if you're a fan of your joysticks glowing different colors, well, you'll probably be happy with this. Up 70%. %90. Come on, let me play some games. Configuration setup is done. Click what? Okay. Oh, now I'm going to go through all these Android tutorials. Oh, new background. Not the Ishtar background on every other Anbernic Android handheld. One thing about Anbernic devices is some people like to use them, some don't, but they usually do come with a lot of the emulation software that you need already installed. So what I think we'll do, and I'm not going to bother with using their front end. I usually don't. I usually just use Android, but you can see there's an OTA updater. There actually is an update for the Cube out. Not going to mess with that right now because that would just take probably 15 or 20 minutes, and we want to actually get to playing some games here. So what do we got? Got a gamepad tester. And how they have this thing set up, but you can certainly see that we're not necessarily going around in a smooth circle. There actually is some things out there. Gamma has made a joystick fix for this device, so I may end up installing that a little later too, but for right now we're still doing kind of first impressions here. SD card is ready to use, fine. So let's see what we got. Let me actually raise this up so you can see the screen a little better. Hang on a second. And we're back with this raised up. So it might be a little easier to see the screen now. So you can see we've got Chrome settings. Not going to mess with any of that just yet. We've got some emulators. In particular, I'm going to look at PS2 because I've got some of that. Let's see what else we got. DuckStation's on there. RetroArch and some other stuff. This doesn't quite want to sit on my particular stand. This is the only handheld so far that hasn't really played nice with my tablet stand here, but we'll survive. So in the menus, we have brightness control. And yes, I will be doing a brightness test on this handheld and putting it in the list with all the other ones. We have Bluetooth, internet, which I'm not going to mess with right now. That is, I believe, how to get into the Anbernic interface. One way of doing it anyway. We have Nightlight, which is anti-blue key mapping software. Don't need that right now. Auto mode. Put it into performance mode. Probably good for PS2. Ambient light. Okay, we can play around with the lights. Chasing just made him disappear. Maybe chasing doesn't work. Okay. Gaming, I don't know what that does. Chasing appears to do nothing. This was what it was on to begin with. Rainbow, I guess, just cycles between the colors. Light would just be one color. Breath would be fade in and out. Well, we'll just leave them at the default setting. There's probably more for that in the settings somewhere. Screen recording. Fan is set to auto. If it's like the RG556, the fan's not on all the time. Anyway, so don't think that time's right. We'll worry about time if we get hooked to the internet. It's certainly not Wednesday, June the 19th either, but doesn't make a difference. Let's see if we can play some games. So let's start up an emulator. Add a game directory. It will probably fuss at me again. Oh, and one thing, there is the control mode. I always use Xbox mode, but this can affect whether or not your triggers will work. Particularly in Android games, you pretty much always want to use Xbox mode. Yep. Let's get back here. So the first game is going to have to be Star Ocean. As you can see, I mean, even with me going through all the menus and just taking a look, it does not take long at all to get from 0 to gaming on these Anbernic devices. You probably can't hear the sound right now. Let's actually... Didn't want to do that. Let's actually put on 2x. Oh, that's really hard to see. You probably can't read it either. But yeah, the frame rate counter here is going to take some getting used to on the RG cubed. Either that or I'm going to need better glasses. Now, let's get rid of... I keep hitting the wrong button. Let's get rid of that overlay. Put on auto hide delay. I like it to show up just in case at the very beginning, then have it disappear. So I put 1 second delay on it. Also, if you want game vibration, click that. And I guess I'll have to map the buttons. Yeah, I don't think we'll be using widescreen for this. Let's see, the buttons are mapped wrong, so put it to Nintendo for right now. There we go. Vibration works. That triggers vibration, so it definitely works. It doesn't look too bad so far. Don't see any frame drops. Now there is one spot that this game sometimes chokes without doing some emulator tweaking. Let's bring up the menu. Yep. So, Star Ocean fans, here's what you do to fix this. Go to Graphics and select Texture Preloading Partial. And now you can use the menus. Looks good so far. So, doesn't take very long at all to get gaming once you start fiddling around with the cube. So, I think we should probably do some proper gaming tests. So I will probably have to pause for a bit and get this hooked up to the capture card, and we can continue from there. Alright, so we're back to look at a little bit of gameplay on the RG Cube. So you can kind of barely see if you're looking up there that this game is currently running at about 60 FPS. This is Star Ocean 3. And let's go back and look at a little gameplay here. At least we'll get to a battle.
This game room features. I have to enter my ID number. This game room features. I have to enter my
Those things
ID
are going to
number.
force me to go to the beach first. Just let me get out to the beach so we can start the battle tutorial. See, so far the performance is pretty good. Maybe they'll let me do the battle tutorial.
This game room. I have to enter my ID number on the. This game room. I have to enter my ID. This game room. I have to enter my ID.
Games again? Keep playing games all the time like that.
What? Why don't you give it a try?
But isn't this one of those combats? No can do.
Don't worry. I'll protect you.
But,
I'd never let you do anything. Come on, try it.
well, if you say so.
Then it's settled. Let's start at an easy. You'd prefer a character that uses symbolic.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Beginners.
Okay.
All right then.
Welcome to the battle simulator.
What do you want to do, Sophia?
I don't know.
You probably should. Otherwise, it won't be much fun.
Normally I would do
Okay.
the instructions for the relationship points. But we
All
just
right,
want to see how the battles play.
Player 1 character. Play battle. Set up.
Okay,
Prepare. This
I already know.
confirmed.
I'll give it my best shot.
Looks like an even match. Yeah, take that.
Yaha!
Yeah, take that.
Yaha!
Yeah,
How do you like that?
take that.
How do you like that?
Take that.
Little lag in the beginning.
Yaha!
Take that.
That do have this
Yaha!
Yeah, take
How do you like that?
Yeah.
Yaha!
Yeah.
Yaha!
Yeah.
How do you like that?
That was easy.
And that's that.
That wore me out.
So far the performance was pretty good on that game. This is just with the default software. We could probably install an update to this and maybe get a little bit better performance out of it. But let's take a look at at least one or two other games here. This is not going to run Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, but we'll just take a look at it anyway. Certainly not at 2 times resolution. But we'll give it a shot. Yeah, now it's going to choke. Let's just put this back to 1x. It's still going to choke though. Can hang on just a little bit. Oh, now it's going to die.
You are weary from your travels, but mesmerized at the sight of Baldur's Gate. Not only a town of myth and legend, but also a place where one can find fame and fortune round every corner.
So not really powerful enough to do Baldur's Gate, at least the PlayStation 2
Drawn
version.
by a haunting voice,
But
you come to the Elf Song Tavern.
if you enjoy Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, there is a native Android version which should run perfectly on this.
Filled with
Well,
a motley
if it supports the 1x1
assortment
screen.
of patrons and grisly trophies. There, the haunting voice is all around you, and the patrons are silent as the song washes over them. One by one, they all seem...
Yeah, I'll just stop that one there. Didn't really expect this game to work. This game requires a good amount of horsepower to get running. And The RG556 joked on it as well, so we kind of knew this one was going to not do too well. So you can play a fair amount of PS2 games, but not all of them, as you can see. Curious as to how the intro of Tales to the Abyss is going to go. Let's see if we can handle 2x resolution. And we're getting a little choking here at 2x. Saw a little bit of it. Let's see. Just starting a new game should show us just whether or not we can handle 2x, because the initial area is actually where we get a lot of trouble. Oh, it's not going to let me skip this, is it?
In Kimlaska shall be born one who inherits the power of Lorelei. He will be a boy of royal blood with hair of red. He shall be called the Light of the Sacred Flame, and he will lead Kimlaska Langvaldir to new prosperity. ND 2002. The one who would seize glory.
Well, we'll just
shall
pause for a
destroy
second.
the island upon which he was born.
Alright, here we go. Now we should be able to walk around a bit and see if it lags. Alright, Luke, you've looked out of the window long enough. Good, we can move. Let's wander around a bit.
Guess I'm hearing things.
Yeah, this area right here sometimes chokes on lower powered systems. Looks like we're okay so far. At 2x resolution. Actually, let's look at one more game to see if it kind of runs okay. Let's see what we got here. Have a small memory card in here, so I don't have a whole lot. Let's take a look at the beginning of Radiata Stories. And vibration works. Whoop, I think I hit the wrong button. Well, let me pause this and see if I can get something rendering with the game engine here. Alright, so we are getting a little bit of slowdown here in the actual game. Not really surprising. Had to tweak this one to run on the RG556 as well. Probably not going to get 2x resolution out of it. Let's just bump it back to 1x and see if that clears some of this up.
Ready at last.
So probably playable here, just not with a whole lot of upscaling.
Jack Russell!
What?
Still,
What did I do?
Today's the day
the
we've been waiting
handhelds
for.
like the
Don't tell me you've
RG405 just
forgotten.
really can't handle this game at all.
I haven't
So,
forgotten.
You most
so this
certainly
may be a
have.
pretty good
Why aren't you more
RG405 replacement if you're into wanting a very small
Outside
handheld
now.
that can
Aw,
play
but I
PlayStation
just
2
got
games.
up. Do as you're told.
Hey, Dad's sword.
Yes, Jack, this is your father's
Yeah,
legendary
this fire
sword.
was giving it trouble before. It seems to be able to handle it at
Of
1
course,
times
you aren't
resolution,
ready
though.
to, but someday you will. Someday, Jack, you'll become a great knight like your father. You'll be a leader of men with this sword at your side. I know you will.
Wow.
But that's
But
probably
first,
enough to give us
You
a
have
little
to pass
taste
the
of the
selection trials, right?
gameplay.
Hey, no worries.
We'll pause it here. And just give the rest of my initial impressions. So, as some of you know, there was an issue with the initial batch of the RG Cubed that a lot of screens had some pretty bad light bleed. So we're taking a look at light bleed on the RG Cube that I just received. And apologies for the out of focus, it's because it's dark. This camera's just not going to focus very well, but you can see that this RG Cube does not appear to have the light bleed issue like some of the early review units. So maybe Anbernic has done good on their promise to try to fix this issue, because so far at least I'm not really seeing a worrisome amount of light bleed, which is a good thing. It would have been up here at the top of the screen, but I'm not seeing it. So this RG Cube looks to be pretty good on the light bleed front, or rather lack of light bleed. So at least if you were wondering whether the units that they were shipping through eBay had their screens fixed, it looks like the answer to that is yes, because I do not see significant light bleed on this screen. So definitely good news if you were looking on potentially purchasing one of these, because we would have definitely seen it on this dark screen if we were going to have a problem. So, no light bleed so far. So just some final thoughts on the RG Cube. Obviously this is not intended to be a full review of the device, but so far anyway, I'm enjoying it. It seems to be pretty well built. The device is solid, doesn't seem to have some of the rattles and creaks that you hear in some other Anbernic devices. I have only used the controls a little bit. You guys have seen in this video the sum total of all the gameplay I've done on the RG Cube so far. But feels good so far. I will, of course, spend some more time with this device before giving it a thorough review. But I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing here, because I really did want a small replacement for this that could actually run the games I wanted to run, which are mostly PlayStation 2 titles. So I know that the 1-to-1 screen ratio is a little weird, and there is, I believe, a way to get it to display 4:3 and 16:9 on a second monitor, but all I did for the gameplay tests here is I just let it output the way it does by default. By default, it will output to a monitor in 1:1. So if you just plug this into a TV and don't do anything else, you will get some rather huge black bars. But that can be fixed, and there are some videos out there to do that. I may do that. I may just demonstrate that myself when I do a full review of this device. But so far, looks pretty good. I think Anbernic has done a pretty good job with this little thing. And seems to be a pretty solid build. We'll definitely dive into some gameplay, and I'll be posting some gameplay videos with the RG Cube. And by the way, if you want kind of a preview of that, just look at the RG556 videos, because the RG Cube uses the exact same chipset as the 556. So by and large, we're going to expect pretty similar performance on the two devices. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, give me a like. If you want to see more content, give me a subscribe. And I hope to see you guys next video.